believe I'm in the middle of a great story, and it's doing this like weird loading thing. This
It's
sucks.
doing a weird loading thing.
At least I'm looking. I mean, if y'all can see me, that's great. I'm looking at the screen and going, "Huh, crap." Anyway,
Well, you're frozen at the moment.
sweet. There
There
we
you
go. Not
go.
frozen anymore.
There you are.
So, at this club in the 90s, there was a performer called Rocking Irene who would do all sorts, a wide repertoire of music, show tunes, call and answer, et cetera, et cetera. And yes. Brett, that chair, Terry's chair has
The art and the artists.
it has seen better days and many, many cats. But I took that inspiration, wrote the scene. The group's writing the scene, and we get to the point of what is this person singing? And essentially, we took inspiration from Terry Pratchett's Filk, the Wizard's Stick and its Knob. Yes, that's exactly what it's implying. And I wrote really bawdy lyrics to go along with that. That included mention of Norse witch women who are called Volda. And I just managed to put all of this together into 8 lovely lines, knowing that if this ever gets finished and printed and published, I will have to sing it.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
I
would never do that. I would never do that to myself. I know better. Actually,
but that's
no,
the thing. That's when you have 3 other co-authors, and one of them is pretty much dead set on finding ways to make you screw up.
That's rude.
That is rude.
I drew the line at Klingon. My accent's not very good, but yeah. So I figured I was just going to go for it and write the lyrics myself, and I did. And yeah, one of my secret superpowers is writing song parodies. And sometimes it comes in handy.
Sometimes it does. Ceilings, nothing more than ceilings. Anyway, on that note, howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I am Paul E. Cooley. Joining me as always, my wonderful co-hosts, Veronica Jaguar and Terry Mixon. How the hell are you people?
Spending money like it's going out of style. Actually, I'm planning to spend money like it's going out of style. I haven't actually, spent the money.
You see, it sounds like you're in denial and in acceptance and relief all at the same time. It's a very confusing...
I'm not in denial. I've already accepted that it's happening. So, it's like I've spent it. I just don't have the fruits of my labor yet.
So what you're saying is you might be a pantser when it comes to your words, but you're definitely plotting when it comes to your monetary spending.
Well, considering tax implications, I better damn well be a plotter.
True.
Otherwise, unexpected plot complication.
Yeah, we all love one of those.
A villain appears.
Kubler-Ross is a spinning wheel for Terry. I don't get the reference.
I don't know who he is.
I don't know.
I'm going to get yelled at again for not knowing a reference. That's how this works.
Oh, gracious.
Well, V, have you been up to anything creatively?
Creatively, I've been playing video games to
That's
inspire. Considering that this is the only time of year when I sit down and actively sit and play something, it gives me ideas for writing. So yes, and I've been collaboratively writing. He wrote the 5 stages. Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm already at acceptance. This is the way it is. It didn't take me long to get there either.
Clearly not. No, this is one of those it's that weird in between week because the kids are off from school. I shut down the studio. I did record the first chapter. Technically, I have recorded the first chapter of the new year. So that's kind of cool. and it's a good book, so I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it. But, I mean, my husband takes off work from, I think, the 23rd until the Monday after New Year's. And so we all just kind of hang out and do whatever. So how do you shut down a home studio, Brett? Pretty much hit the power button, and then you tell people, I'm sorry, I'm not recording anything else. And then you try to stick to it, which is kind of hard, but it was really easy when the teenager gave me a cold and I couldn't record anyway. So it was like, it was forced rest.
A forced vacation.
Yes.
Forced hiatus. Forced.
Borscht? No. Ew.
So you've been using video games for inspiration.
I've played through Dragon Age Veilguard, which, as a BioWare property, has really, really good options for characterization, choices that affect the storyline, and I finished my first playthrough, and I'm on my second one, using walkthroughs and now because completionist syndrome, and trying to get the ending that I want. So yeah, it's fun.
James asks, wasn't the Terry Pratchett song based on those magnificent men and their flying machines?
I don't know. This was more my co-authors putting stuff together. They just gave me the lyrics and I looked at it and my brain went, how can I make this even more bawdy and cringy? Give me 2 minutes. Cut paste. Will that work? Wow. Yeah, that will. Okay, go for it. Good. On to the next scene. So yeah, that's been my week. What about you, Terry?
Creatively, I haven't written as much as I want, as much as I need to, but I've been doing creative stuff. I've been continuing to allow myself to do creative stuff involving my role-playing game stuff. So not the profitable stuff, but creative, sure. But tomorrow begins the slog. I have a due date, so I need to get going. Got a book to finish. I at least got the short story finished, so I know who the character is. That's always a good start.
That is a good thing.
Will speed things up quite a bit.
It's amazing how personalities come out when you're doing that sort of thing, because as I was writing the story, I decided that I was never going to ever mention the guy's first name, ever.
Right.
It's never going to happen. And it's just like, where did that come from? I have no idea where that came from, yet here we are. It's like he's Beyonce, but different.
That's a Houston thing, isn't it?
Ooh, when do we get the TTRPG of Empire of Bones?
It's not coming from me. Sorry.
Sounds like a licensing opportunity.
Yes.
What else was I doing creative-wise? I literally have spent a lot of time messing around with Traveler role-playing stuff and having a good time with that. But holidays are over. Sunday, I clear the decks and I get back to it. What about you, Paul?
You know,
I hear you're a budding arborist.
Fuck.
This is not the Lorax. He does not speak for the trees.
Largest goddamn tree in my fucking lot, and we had to take it down today because it was starting to uproot. So that was a lot of money I wasn't planning on spending. But the good news is we got it done before the 20 mile and 25 mile an hour gusts start hitting tomorrow with all the rain and then the freezing rain Sunday night. So it's done.
Well, they should have just cut it all up for you, and you'd have like pine wood to go ahead and burn in your fireplace and smoke yourself out with. No?
So besides torturing and murdering trees, it was perfectly healthy, except it was leaning and going to hit the neighbor's house, and it was going to be bad for everybody involved.
Isn't that what insurance is for?
Fuck. No. No. Anyway, I've been plugging away. I finally got the Medusa Zone audiobook finished. I'm uploading the files to ACX, and coming across a couple of issues on levels, so I got to redo some of the levels. I don't know why, but I do. They were fine for the podcast and fine for all the other audiobooks, but ACX just has to be special. Anyway, other than that, where am I at? 48,000 words into Sakulina, something like that. So moving forward on that one, I missed my deadline of January 1st, but considering all the shit that's gone on in the last 5 or 6 days, I'm okay with it. So I just got to try and finish that this week, if people will allow me. And then I can go back to Extinction and start looking at that. As soon as I finish this book, let it sit for a day or two, and then go start on Extinction again, and hopefully get that in good enough shape. And then I can go back to Sakulina. And I still need to finish re-recording Evolution, and I still need to get Oceania edited, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, much less cover art. So this is going to be a mess. 2025 is already starting out really rough in a lot of ways. Yeah, I've been busy killing Ents. That's going to come back and haunt me, I dare you. I guarantee it. So anyway, that's what's going on, but I did start releasing Neptune Scars. Put the first episode up, and it's, as I expected, it got a lot of hits on YouTube because a lot of those people found me through Derelict back during COVID lockdown. So that's been kind of nice to see. And I've also seen some comments on the reviews and such, because I wasn't even looking for it, but I came across it because I was looking for something else. And somebody put up a review of the entire Derelict saga and said, "Where is the rest of this universe?" And I was like... it's nice to be reminded every once in a while that people actually liked your shit and want more of it. I sometimes forget that. Anyway, that was a good boost. It was a good boost for my motivation, because now I need to finish the other 2 books in that trilogy.
That's usually how it works.
So it's the beginning of the year. And this means we have 361 days left in this.
Yes.
You're already counting to the end of the year? Don't you think it's a little soon for that?
No.
No. No, and I have very specific reasons why. They won't translate to everybody else, but I know what's coming.
Uh-oh, that sounds ominous.
That sounds really ominous.
I know that I'll be going on a 2-week cruise.
Okay.
I know that I'm going to Phoenix for 4 or 5 days. So that's 3 weeks where I'm out of pocket. And I can't be relied upon to produce anything because it's going to be a mess. But I write well on cruise ships. I write well when everybody goes to sleep in a strange house or whatever. So I'll be fine with that. I'll still be making word count. It's just I won't be able to do any recording. I won't be able to do any production. I won't be able to do any of that stuff. So I have to plan ahead for that, which means I have to reorient all my deadlines around those things. And then I also have a contract to satisfy, which is 1 book a quarter. So I have lots of reasons to be planning right now and looking for potential roadblocks and landmines before we really start traveling down this road to 2025. Wow, I did that without mixing a metaphor. It's amazing. So those are the things I have to plan for. It's going to be a lot of work to get to that point because I still have to record 3 audiobooks and finish 2. So there's going to be, it's going to be a very, very busy year for me. And as daunting as it is looking at it, I also remembered today that this means that if my plans go well, I will publish 5 books this year.
That's pretty awesome.
Do what, Terry?
Shut the front door.
Shut the front door. So that's going to be a bit of a record for me in a lot of ways. So I'll be very happy when we get to that point. So I'm motivated to get there. Question is, will the rest of life allow me to get there? What about you, V?
So I have a lot of stuff to plan around, and I've got, I already have stuff booked through April. with books and projects. And I've got one book on contract that I know has to be done by July. I've got travel coming up that is work related, but it's also a cruise. So I'm not going to argue. But there's also, I've got to worry about, I worry or keep in mind or plan around other folks' schedules. So I have to plan around school schedules. I have to plan around my daughter's bowling schedules. So I know I have to put them into my calendar, but I've got to post it somewhere here. Really? There it is. That has all of the big bowling tournaments until through May. And don't feel sorry. The cruise, I mean, it's a working cruise. It is a conference on a cruise ship. I am legit working and honing my craft while reeking of sunscreen and drinking virgin mojitos. I mean,
I swear, Arthur Nation needs to go ahead and set up a cruise.
Oh my God.
There are writing cruises. There are like writing conferences on cruises. But anyway.
But the only problem with that is there's a number of authors that I would not be looking forward to actually seeing in a swimsuit.
Most people don't. I mean, I know that.
I mean, Richard Fox, for example, who wants to see that? Okay, I'm just poking at Richard.
I don't know Richard
anyway,
Fox.
But so I've got, sports stuff to plan around. I know that there's 2 weeks in the summer where I won't be recording, and I don't know how much writing I'll actually get done, because it's one thing to travel for yourself and be able to turn your brain off. But if you're traveling in a parental capacity, you're fried. I wish I was joking, but
I have no doubt you're not.
It gets to a point where all of the executive function of where are we going, when do we stop, who's eating what did I pack, where do we have to be, et cetera, et cetera. I literally have to take half a day and just kind of to let everything reset.
Yes, Brett, that is exactly who Richard Fox is.
The winner of the 2017 Dragon Award for Best Military Science Fiction or Fantasy Novel is best known for the Ember War saga.
And he's also a friend, so I feel okay poking at him.
James says, I can imagine Paul telling everyone about an aquatic killing machine in the ocean going down great in a writing conference on a cruise ship. Dude, I already got yelled at because my sister went on a cruise just after finishing the Medusa Zone. Or not a cruise, she went to Hawaii just after finishing the Medusa Zone. And was like, I'm afraid to go in the water now. Thanks.
Yeah, I read The Black while I was on a cruise ship. Thanks. And then when I went, where was I? I was in Curacao. I went snorkeling, and there was a huge movable oil rig really close to where we were snorkeling. And I was like, oh dear, I hope it's safe on there. Should I really get in the water? But it was in Curacao, and of course I did because it was gorgeous. Anyway, but planning. So I have actually had to take my entire year and create a year at a glance calendar in a spreadsheet and start putting everything in with days that I'm recording, days when I shouldn't be recording, admin stuff, travel things. I that might be the angel patron level for the Black Fun Ship. I mean, I think at that point, Brett, you're commissioning.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You're commissioning. The Black ate some too many sex toys, and now it thinks, I don't know what it thinks.
So there are those kinds of cruises geared towards that particular population, and Celebrity hosts them. I will leave it at that.
Yeah, but security has to keep going around all the weird parts of the ship looking for people doing things they shouldn't be doing.
No, they have
Antoine?
areas set aside.
What in the
Anyway,
hell
no,
are you talking about?
Oh, I think you know what I'm talking about.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Antoine. I know
So-
you.
So yeah, I'm motivated to write and get stuff done. It is quite literally making sure that I set aside days to get the recording done and give myself time, because I need to give myself time to rest. Because if I don't, I will burn out and then I can't do shit. So the planning ahead thing for me is so I can be nice to future me. Because sometimes I'm a bitch to future me, and I don't need that.
Oh no. Oh God. Well, at least you got that planned out. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, it's barely planned out because I still have to go through. I have, like, some people might plan days that they're going to write things. Like maybe you're planning a book to have 40 chapters, and your goal is to hit, one chapter a day or so many words a day. I look at it from how many hours can I record in a day? What else is going on that day? Can I record that much? And then how many days do I plot out to record something? How many days does it take me to prep a script? Are there other things I can do on that day when I prep a script? Can I prep a script in the morning and then write in the afternoon? And it's a lot of, and then knowing when certain books are due. So it's it's a big Google sheet, and there are formulas, and I'm a little proud of the complexity of it. I'm also grossly intimidated by it. So,
All right.
chat, for those listening and not watching or participating right now, the chat is having a lively debate about the types of lifestyle cruises that are offered by various cruise lines, why upside down pineapples were banned, and now there's been a SpongeBob reference thrown in there, and I can safely say that I did not need alternative lifestyle SpongeBob in my life. So
Well, Patrick, he gets around.
Yeah, have you seen those stubby fingers?
Oh,
is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick.
That gives Krusty Krab a whole new meaning. Anyway, that's not well
Hi-oh.
So, how many words from Saculita right now?
Oh yeah, if you weren't on the Patreon chat last week,
Ooh, you missed it.
that got a little crazy. Just got a little crazy. The slip and slide or shuffleboard is quite different on this cruise. Okay, I love chat. Terry, what about you? Xander says, you think Patrick gets around? We all know Squidward and their flute get it. Yikes.
What about me?
Yeah, what
Well,
about you?
I obviously have things I want to do, but I'm not nearly as organized as all that, since my job relates all around writing. So scheduling other things, it's usually doctor's appointments and things like that. So that's not so difficult to work out. Now, the next couple of months are going to be real pain in the butt for getting anything done, but it's going to have to happen anyway.
Right.
I am sure that the show on Saturday is going to be perfectly fine with somebody ripping out the bathroom right down the hall.
Assuming they're going to work on a Saturday afternoon, sure.
We may need to send you the cone of silence or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be working on it or not, but if they are, boy, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out with that. But you have deadlines, right? You know when books are due.
I do know when books are due. At least I know when the next book is due.
Okay. So you have a little bit of lead time on what your schedule is, but not for the entire year.
Not for the entire year, which is good. I don't need to know, too far in advance.
Yeah, because you're writing a series, you don't really need to know. I disagree. It'd be nice to know.
Well,
I think I would like
I
to
know roughly that I'm turning in a book every 2 months. So
Okay.
I know enough to know what things are going on. I don't need to know the specific date that it's due 4 months down the road for the book after this one. I just don't need to know it. Not yet. I need to know the due date once I start writing it.
Gotcha. Does that ever affected what you put in the book or how big the book is?
No, never.
It hasn't. Okay.
There have been times where they've requested that I turn in a book, that I publish a book a week early. And there's been a time where I said I need a week or two of delay because I'm not quite ready. So the schedule is flexible.
Okay.
To a degree.
To a degree. I think that's the key. I did a pre-order once, for instance, and that locks you into an absolute fucking deadline. And with Amazon, and you screw that up and they get really pissy. And I don't ever want to do that again because there's always something that pops up at the last second that you missed and screws everything up, or you end up putting somebody under pressure because there was a misunderstanding and there's no way out of it. You're just boned. So there's a lot of different reasons why I won't do a pre-order ever again. It's just too terrifying. I'd have to have everything ready to go before I did a pre-order.
Julius agrees with your sentiments.
Yeah, I know.
I think some people function really well with the pre-orders. Like some people will put up pre-orders as that hard deadline so that they have to finish the book by then. But I think that requires a whole other level of, planning and time management and knowing how much buffer time that you actually need to get stuff done.
Brett is really pissed at me today. I love writers who complain about having too many projects and time off. Why am I a Patreon again? Damn.
I mean, granted, I'm hoping that with this calendar year, with stuff that I've put in place, I will be able to focus and get stuff done and finish a draft on my own. So some people know that I am I don't buy planners because they never fit for me because of the stuff that I want to track. So I draw out my own. And it's like a super zen thing to sit down and draw out my journal spread. And I get stickers and do everything. So I have my little dotted notebook. I'm still working on drawing everything out. But I actually put in a space in my layout this year to track writing projects, which is not something I've done before.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, this is the first week of February. So up here, I am actually going to have the project that I'm working on and the word count. So the starting word count for that week. And then at the bottom, same thing. Whatever project it is. And then the ending word count. And that's so I have a visual thing to track. Now, the reason I've got so many boxes on that is because I've got to do, silly domestic things like meal plan and check on doctor's appointments and practices. Yes, James, I draw all those lines in. I have colors and, stickers for every single one. It is, for me, I can sit and pseudo meditation. I can sit and turn on music or, turn on a sports game and have it in the background, and I just sit and zone out and draw stuff in. For me, that's calming.
Right.
All that organization, I swear, it's a sickness. It's a sickness.
10 years in higher ed, I focused on time management and learning strategies. I cannot get away from it. And yes, I do. And I have a Google sheet. I have several Google sheets that track different things and have formulas to estimate things. And I could, but time, do I need another project? And I'm literally doing this to help myself and to sit down. Oh my God.
JRS.
Well, we still can't get the DRS authors calendar or the CATS calendar, so I'm not doing any of my calendars per se. And I've learned that if I'm personally drawing one up, it's only going to work for me.
So basically, what you're saying is, if I go ahead and make a Terry's Cat calendar and put it on Amazon, that you're on the hook then.
All that I'm saying is that if you want to invest your time and energy to put your fur babies on a calendar and make some extra money to offset, replacing a toilet, then I think you're good.
It would be titled "Shit You Must Do" by Mistress V.
Okay, first off, we are not. This is not a business model I need to get into. I
can
do
just
not
imagine
need...
the cover now with you and a whip next to a cat. I can just see this.
No, it would be severe black, bright red lipstick, hair slicked back in readers, and just looking sternly at somebody. And I really don't have the time to get into motivation kink. Okay?
Do you know how much money you would make by that? You would make a mint.
Shit.
My children would disown me. And I still have to deal with the judgment of a 16-year-old. Okay.
Here's the deal. You go ahead and you make a mock-up of it without the intent to actually do anything with it. And then you present it to the family as if, this is what I'm putting out. It's already up on Amazon. Oh my God. Watch the chaos begin.
As Brett says, naughty librarian, it's a good look.
I hate you all.
So what else is new? It must be Saturday or something.
I'm gonna put like the DRS bingo thing, the whole Mistress V Patreon, or nerdy
new job for Mistress V.
Yeah, that's what this is. It gets mentioned. I'm just gonna have $1 for every time.
You should actually go ahead and draw out the DRS bingo so we have one that we can put it in front of us to start doing stuff with.
I had a couple, but you're right, Brett. It's not just me that can work that angle. There is an equal opportunity for every single person here.
Brett, I think that you would look really odd as a naughty librarian, but maybe there's an audience for that.
I mean, it's not just V that can work this angle, Brett says. Master, sorry, sir.
Oh, comments I have to save for After Dark. Damn it. Okay.
That's what the comments must wait to After Dark. There's another bingo.
There's projects I could write for the sole purpose of being able to voice them.
If you had a split personality with one of you being an author, the other being a narrator, there's a job there that could work out.
Oh, I have totally thought about having a pen name so that my pen name can write stuff and my pseudo can narrate it and I stay the hell out of the picture but reap the benefits. I have thought about this.
V, yes, could you take a photo of that planning calendar madness? I'm still hooked on that.
I'll put it up in live after the show. I'll snap a picture. But yeah, and that's the thing. That's not the first one. I've been doing calendar layouts like that for a couple of years now. It's just it helps me plan stuff out, and my handwriting's pretty, so I'm going to make it pretty.
Somebody whose name will not be mentioned may have, in fact, volunteered to do something similar for Author Nation.
I initially offered to help rework their planner, and at this point, no one has contacted me, and I don't get any more projects.
Done deal.
Because quite frankly, the level at which I do that kind of thing and do the education planning, I should not do it for free. So yeah.
Yeah, the money question.
Orky dorky.
Yeah, but
gosh, for years I thought about getting myself a planner, and I just realized that was nothing but chaos, and I'm not organized enough to need a planner.
That's the thing. Not everybody. Some people find it overwhelming.
It is. I feel constrained when I have it in writing.
Right, and that's the thing. I find for me, writing stuff down and knowing where I'm going, that is motivation. Because I have a plan, and I can, it for me. I treat it sort of like why writing in other people's universes or collaboratively writing or even writing fan fiction for me is often easier and goes faster than starting something completely on my own, because I have to draw in the boundaries and I have to set those boundaries. Whereas Right. Whereas if I'm working in someone else's universe or working with other people, those boundaries are already set. Right. And then it's my job to just, run roughshod over the middle and make something cute. So yeah.
James Terrell put in live chat his current planning method. It's just people throwing confetti.
and granted, I think some of that comes from, what I did in higher ed with all the planning that I did. And some of it comes from the parenting side of things and having to juggle a lot of schedules and having to have all the answers for what are we doing today? Who's going to the doctor? What are we having for dinner? Essentially dealing with supply chain management and personnel management for anywhere from 1 to 4 other people. And now we have a cat close-up.
Ooh, there's spittle on the mic. Spittle on the camera and the mic. Brett says he's a planner guy. He really can't make too much fun. I think all of us are to a certain degree. I sometimes forget how much crap is on my calendar, for instance, of doctor's appointments and everything else. It's like 3 to 6 months out. And it's like 2 days before it goes, hey, dummy, you've got something coming up. And I've forgotten about it completely by then. So I can see how that would be helpful.
Well, then, I mean, it's knowing when I have time that I can go, hey, this is supposed to be an admin day. I don't have to be in the house. I can go to my favorite coffee shop and, sit and work and write and be good.
You keep a planner locked up somewhere?
It's the secret planner.
It's the secret planner. No, it's the wedding planner. It was the wedding planner.
I had a binder for that. Dear God, no.
Oh, God.
Anyway. Right, motivation. What the hell are we talking about?
I don't know. You went off into La La Land. I think that chased you there.
I think they did too. I'm going to go hide under a rock.
One of the things I think that's important to remember is that motivation isn't something that comes from inside yourself. Sometimes you've got to actually initiate that motivation. You've got to get something going, and it's not your muse coming to visit saying, I'm here with the motivation fairy to help get you on your way. No, you've actually got to do it. Like I've been putting off and not doing what I need to do. So I've got to get motivated. That means I need to put my nose to the grindstone to go ahead and mix my metaphors. And that takes a little bit of forcefulness in your doing. You have to say, no, these things that I would really rather do, that's going to have to wait until I have my daily allotment done.
Yeah, it's just basically holding yourself accountable. And we're in a position where this is our jobs. What we're talking about is our jobs. So this is what other people work a full-time job and then come home and write or come home and record and do as a side gig or something else. And those are the folks that really, are really burning the candle at both ends, which I think all three of us were at one point. So it makes a difference when we know I've got 2,000 words I need to get done today. I need to get this chapter done today, so tomorrow I can work on the next one. It's basically putting one foot after the other and keep going that way. I think that's the secret to doing it full time.
Yeah, it is.
Brett says, what is your motivation? Why do you do what you do?
It's all about the Benjamins.
Is it really, though?
In a way, it is. I'm not a writer that came into this being the one that must write. I came into this as being a disgruntled reader, not being happy with what I was reading in the marketplace and wanting something more along the lines of what I wanted to have as a story. But now that it's my full-time income, well, yeah, that is a big part of it because the mortgage payment demands money.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm. So in a way, it really is all about the Benjamins for me. It's not that that's all I do about it, but it's the main driving factor. If I stop, then life runs over me.
Yeah, I know that all too well. I know that all too well.
So in this case, being about the Benjamins isn't a pursuit of wealth. It's a pursuit of keeping the debt collectors out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just motivated to tell stories, period. I think I always have been since I was like 11 or 12. And the fact that I can do this now as a job, although I don't make a whole lot of money, the fact that I can do it as a job is just what I always dreamed of being able to do. You know, it's like anything else. I never thought I could succeed at this, and I'm doing okay. Not great, but I'm doing okay. So the motivation is to keep writing this stuff, but I want to give folks a good ride on the literary plot line. I want them to occasionally make them think, I hope, and entertain. I mean, that's my job. My job is to entertain. So I want to write entertaining stories, and I want to write stories that I want to write. And people aren't always going to agree with the endings or whatever else I did, and I just have to know that and go on my merry way. But, you know, I have a brand, and I have to live up to my brand. There's just various ways to do that. But I get really motivated when I put something up and the patrons go wild for it, or, you know, somebody sends me a link to a review that is very kind. And it's little stuff like that. And, you know, even just comments on YouTube about something, you know, how excited people are to ending for something.
That's rude and totally true.
James says, you say entertain, but in your books you spell it traumatize. Anyway, that gets me motivated to write, but, you know, there are people who say things in my skull every once in a while, and it'll be enough of a thought that it seems like it comes out of nowhere, but it's probably me. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and it pops out, and the story just rides along with it. And I want to see where it goes. And if I'm going to see where it goes, I might as well take the reader with me. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But it's in a lot of ways, it's catharsis. It's ways to get things out. And as much as I have, as difficult as it is to get going when I'm suffering depression, once I get going, I lose time. Because, you know, an hour will pass and I'll have written 1,000 or 2,000 words and not even realize that it's been going on because I just dove into the world. And that's a lovely thing when it happens. So it's part therapy. What about you, V?
Well, I mean, the whole job thing, having to help with tuition for kids, that's important. I mean, I guess financially, I do what I do because I want to make sure that my kids have the freedom to pursue what they want, what they want and what they enjoy. And that's not to say that they get to do whatever they want, but if, you know, I'm able to take 2 weeks off in the summer to go to a national bowling tournament because my daughter's really good at throwing 14 pounds of urethane and composite down the lane. And she might go to college for that. So yay. But this is like my third or fourth career, I think. And it's nice to finally be able to do something where I can play. Literally. I get paid to go into a little padded room and read stories and give life to characters and literally play. And for someone who was told, you can't act, you can't sing. And guess what, card-carrying actor? Suck it. I get to do it for a living. And I get to play with characters that I would not have gotten the chance to play with, to like personify. Because I look like a middle America soccer mom. But I don't always sound like one. And that's loads of fun. And then I write because I have too many stories in my head. And I think in characters. and I get ideas for characters and their stories. Like, I want to tell that story. I listen to music and I realize, ooh, that's a plot. That's a scene. I think in scenes, and I want to tell those stories. I want to sit and play. That's really it. We can't hear you.
He's lost his voice.
Oh no. Nope.
Nothing for you.
Oh no.
Now we could talk
His
all
mouth
kinds
is
of crap
moving,
about him and he
but
can't respond.
But the words aren't coming out. So. But
Keep your clothes on, man. Just keep your clothes on.
But
I hear something now.
up there we go. Try again.
It's gonna die on me.
There you go. You're good.
Did your battery
set.
die on it or something?
Yeah, it was fully charged. I don't understand what's going on here. It's not good. All right. We'll talk into this until it dies.
And it's dead.
Can you hear me?
Sort of, kind of. You're a little far away, but at least we can hear you.
I'm a little far away, but at least you can hear me.
Correct.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, hang on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, we're all done. We're waiting for you now. It's all on you.
Rhode
All the pressure is on
Island,
you.
Rhode Island Nora Road. Discuss.
See, Brett says he has a mic hidden in his breast. Sort of. I mean,
All right,
he's got the cleavage thing going, so it'll fit.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go.
So what
Sorry
were you saying
about
before?
that. I have no idea. Oh, I know what it was. You mentioned scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And the scenes that you see in your head, those often lead me to write a book. Those often lead me to characters. Those often lead to plot complications, etc. Brett asks, anyone have moob shaming by Terry on their bingo card? You know, I got to see these bingo cards.
I'm pretty sure I created some graphics for that. I'll have to go back and find them.
Yeah, I think you did something. The first show of the year. Yeah, that really pisses me off. I'm going to have to figure out what happened there. That ain't supposed to happen. Anyway, that notwithstanding.
But yeah, I have a writing playlist, and it's got. I'm going to have to break it out now for it to be like specific series or work in progress titles, because stuff is looping over, and like YA or NA superheroes, and then with the second chance romance stuff, and then with other projects. Although I'm gonna have to create like a 50s noir playlist. I don't know what to put in it.
50s noir.
50s noir.
Hmm.
The three projects I'm going to track. One is the collab writing that actually has a due date. One is the bowling romance, and then one is a rewrite. And I want to rewrite it to be set as like a 50s SoCal noir.
Okay, so who else creates music playlists for writing? Who else does this?
I don't.
I know you don't.
It's super, super big with romance writers. And it's very, very common. Like if you do that and you have a Patreon or you've got a Facebook group and sharing that kind of information, readers will eat that up.
Thanks for stopping by, Xander. You'll share your writing playlist in live. Okay, cool. Have fun, man.
Yeah, I should share. I think mine's in Amazon, but I can I could share that, and then you're like, you'd be like, oh my gosh, how basic is this woman? But that's okay.
I've shared a couple of my playlists for what I would love to do if I ever had the money and if there was ever the interest would be paid the Cryo Chamber artists to put together a soundtrack for the Derelict Saga from soup to nuts. Because I think that would be just fucking badass. Where basically it'd be like you start the chapter, you hit play on that song, and make it ambient so it could loop. With it, make it seamlessly loop in the background, but still make it 4 to 5 minutes of stuff, and then basically you can kind of loop it in the back while you're reading. It would be really neat. It would be really neat, but it will never happen. The only thing I can do is basically put together songs in a playlist, a public playlist on YouTube or, up at iTunes or whatever, and say, this is my recommended playlist, or this is what I was listening to when I was writing this.
Mm-hmm.
Which some people are interested to know exactly what those things are. So it's interesting. James says his music tastes are eclectic and all the algorithms have no clue what to suggest for me. Brett says you are not alone. Brett, I think most of yours are self-inflicted. But yeah, Alexa, Siri, whoever's putting together this stuff, they miss a lot. And occasionally they're dead on. Occasionally. All right, so I've been getting complaints from the community about the fact we've been staying on topic so much. So
How rude.
Today was a really good example of how we stayed on topic and then went completely off the rails multiple times. So hopefully
Thanks,
the show
chat.
is back to normal and you're happy about it.
Oh, are you crazy? They're never going to be satisfied. They'll just complain about it. That's all they do. Bitch, 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 bitch.
It's terrible people. Just terrible, awful. Yeah, exactly. JR asks a question in topics,
Oh dear.
which we can probably get to really fast.
Is it moob related?
You want to record your own audiobook. Now what? You finished recording your own audiobook. How do you get it edited?
You find an engineer who is going to proof it, master it, and edit it for you. Because your brain will tune out trying to proof your own stuff.
Even more basic. You want to record your own audiobook. How do you do it?
Is your audio recording going to be up to the standards for having it submitted somewhere?
And do you have the time? Do you have the space? Do you have the physical fitness to do it? Because if you don't have the lung capacity and the speech capacity to do that, you are going to wear yourself out.
Just look at Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to be.
We're not joking funny, but it takes a toll on Paul when he's doing recording. This is not Terry being sarcastically funny. It's just you can see that as a non-professional recorder, when he gets involved with it, his voice gets torn up. He has other issues as far as getting fatigued. It does mess with him.
Yeah, and it's there's a lot of considerations that you need to make. And I know you.
It's you, JR. Your words have aged me. Anyway, continue, V.
There's a lot that goes into it if you want to make sure you have a quality product. And the other question is your time better spent narrating or writing? And that's something. Now, if you want to do it yourself, you need to look at your setup. You need to look at your space for noise. You need to look at the amount of time you're willing to put in. If you're just starting out, for every hour of recorded work, you're going to spend 3 hours just narrating. Not editing or mastering. You're going to spend about 3 hours because You're going to want to do retakes. You're going to want to make it sound good. And if you're not used to doing that, it's going to take time. And then if you've got it finished, then you need to work with an engineer to get it proofed, edited, and mastered so that it is ready for your listeners.
And of course, ACX and et cetera, they can all be kind of persnickety about, noise floors and everything else. So there's there's stuff that you have to do, and you have to learn how to do it. It's not like somebody can say, voila, this is how you narrate a book. You know how you narrate a book? You read, you practice, you read, you practice, you talk. You listen to yourself back and see how your phrasing works. And you get an idea of your foibles and the things you need to look out for. I've got a real problem with hard S's, and I don't know why. And I do my best to try and minimize those, but guess what? I'm just not perfect. My books are always going to be, audiobooks are always going to be subpar to a true professional. But for some stupid fucking reason, people like hearing me narrate my shit. And they pay
because you have a good tone. That's the thing. The timbre of your voice works well for the genre that you write and narrate in.
Right.
And, for this year, I am leaning into that dark romance because why? That alto voice gets paired with all of the baritone guys and it sounds really good.
Yeah, I'll bet it does.
So, no, I'm not saying that he has a scary voice, Brett. I'm saying that it works for the genre. But I also know that the hard S's are an issue because if I'm listening in the car, I've got to crank it down. Otherwise, I'm literally jumping.
It was really bad
because I'm super sensitive.
With derelict destruction. There was something wrong. That was when my mic was dying and I didn't know it. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to go re-record that shit. It was not fucking happening. But yeah, you gotta be comfortable handing it off to somebody and saying, does this sound okay? And chances are your first couple of things are going to be fucked up. And the scary thing is, if you're doing takes, well, why not go ahead and learn how to do, if you're using Audacity to record anyway, why not learn how to use Audacity to take out those bad takes? And then you're starting to do your own engineering right there.
Or learn how to do punch and roll.
Or learn how to do punch and roll. Either way, the bottom line is learn how to edit that stuff, and then you don't really have to pay for it. And if you can do it while you're narrating, and you have that kind of time and have that kind of space, you're just going to be that much more ahead of the game. So there's a lot of things involved there. You need to have a good mic. You need to have a good understanding of room noise. You need to have a good idea of what kind of filters or plugins you might need to maybe take away the hum of something in the room. There's all sorts of things.
Or be able to diagnose what's in the room and remove it so you don't have to, because the easiest way to do it is to make sure that you have a quiet space.
Yeah. In my house.
If only you had a basement, Paul.
Oh man, if only I did. Anyway, I would love a basement. Oh, God.
Darn water table.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's the freeze line. It's not even the water table, it's the freeze line. That is the problem.
You couldn't dig deep enough, even up where you are, to get out of the water table.
I'm sitting on 6 feet of clay. What are you talking about? Anyway, if you do finish recording your audiobook, then yes, if you don't know how to edit it and don't know how to produce it, then you're going to have to send it to somebody who can do those things. And that can cost some money.
Yep.
So you also have to look at, how much money am I paying? Is my time worth the money that this is going to cost, or is my money better spent on having somebody else do it?
Having minions is always better.
Having minions is always better. Unfortunately, these are
if you can afford them.
Minions, because they're minions work for free. Minions and henchmen work for free. That's how that works.
I'm not sure that that's the case, but okay.
They work for room and board. How about that?
Well, my definition of having minions to do tasks for you is not the supervillain level of minions you lock in the basement when you're not using them.
I don't have minions. I have associates.
Oh, so it's that kind of organization, is it?
Wow.
V doesn't engineer audio.
It's like a narrating
Nope.
mob. You could have associates in the narrating mob.
So I can tell you right now that when I quote things for people and I have to factor in hiring an engineer, I factor in at least $100 per finished hour. And that's because the folks that I work with have won awards, they've won Audis, they've worked on award-winning books, and I want quality. So I will pay for it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope, because they make me sound good. And I'm fortunate with one of the groups that I work with that they'll listen to the audio. And if something sounds wrong and it's potentially with my equipment, which I've had happen, they were like, there's this really weird frequency going through. Can we get on a call and can we troubleshoot what's going on? And that's because I had a relationship with them. And that was just for free. And they recommended, it was my my preamp that was going out. And they recommended a new one. They're like, here are three. Here's, the super, super high end one. Here's the middle one. Here's the low end one. But you're going to need to get one in the next, week and a half so you can finish up the book. Like, okay, I got the middle one. It has served me very well. It has not caused me any problems. And they always make me sound good. And they have a marvelous sense of humor when it comes to the more risque stuff that I narrate. Because you have to.
Because they have to listen to it too.
They send back all of your edits with George Takei going, oh my.
I've gotten a few of those. Like, wow, that was really interesting. I'm like, yeah, that was really interesting. Or I have to go, I'll send a list of triggers. I'm like, okay, so this, and this. Make sure your proofer is okay with stuff. Okay. So yeah, it is anytime you're talking audio, it is an investment.
Yeah, it's
and
investment in time.
It's
an investment in money.
Yeah. And it is not something that has to be done immediately, but it is a wonderful way to create a second product to sell to a new audience on a property that you already have.
Yep. So on that note, if you have a comment or question about this episode, go to deadrobotsociety.com, punch that contact button, send us an email, or leave a comment on the YouTube episode. We look at those too. Or on Facebook, yes, we look at those too. If you want to find us, you can find us at youtube.com/DRS Podcast, where we are live every Saturday, mostly at 3 p.m. CST. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live. And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS Podcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRS Podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive content like the live show that's coming up in just about 7 minutes. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Antoine Batts, Tony L. Joy, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, Isabel Cushy, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible. Okay, that's all done now.
Good job.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, thanks for hanging out with us and ignoring the football game. Oh, wait, it hasn't started. Yeah, it has started. Ignoring the football game.
It started.
It started, yeah. So I expect score updates during After Dark. Just telling you.
Nobody's yelling. It can't be that important.
You're
it's not hockey. Come on. Nobody's yelling at my house.
Oh, this is mean. Anyway, thanks for spending this with us. And next week we'll have a special guest.
Ooh, stay tuned, Chad.
Now, special. That's all I'm going to say.
And we'll have to see if the special guest can stay for After Dark, and we can go ahead and, have oh goodness knows what happens in After Dark.
Ooh.
We're out of here. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.